Hello and welcome to another tutorial brought to you by lgudb.com, and in this video I'm going to show you some practical applications on how to use Excel's function on VLOOKUP. So here we go. So imagine we have fictional tabulation on something, and it has three criteria that has creativity, documentation, presentability, and it has its own overall performance. And the problem here is how to automatically put the adjectival performance. So if it's 70, it means something. So we have here below our reference table or a table array. So if it's a 0 to 10 performance, it's bad, and if it's 11 to 25, it's fair, and so on, and 76 to 100 is excellent. So in order to not manually refer to this table all the time, there's a way to put that automatically here on the adjectival performance. The most complicated way to do that is using the if function, and then we put if 70 if f5 is somehow greater than 0 and f5 is less than 10, and that's very complicated. What if we could just use this reference table and put these adjectives to whatever value of the overall performance? So how do we do that? So to do that, there's a function in Excel called VLOOKUP. So to do that, to use that function, now to do that, all we have to do is use a VLOOKUP function. So as every function of Excel does, all we need to do is just put equal sign and then type the function name, VLOOKUP. So VLOOKUP has a 4 parameter function. The first is lookup value, table array, column index number, and the range lookup. Okay. So the first is lookup value. So the lookup value is normally the value or the cell which we're going to evaluate. So in this case, it's the overall performance. And then we put some comma on it. Then the second parameter is table array. So we have here a reference table or a table array. So all we need to do is highlight all the values. So we have the first column minimum and the maximum, and the third column is adjective. So we just have to highlight everything on it and then put a comma. Now it looks for the column index number. The column index number is actually the value which is going to appear in this particular cell. So in this example, or in this case, it's the adjectival performance, and in our reference table, it's the adjective. So it's on column 3. So this is minimum is column 1, maximum is column 2, and adjective is the column 3. So I just have to put 3 here. So because I want adjective to appear in the adjectival performance. Now comma. And now this asks true if approximate match and false if exact match. So we're going to use true here because 70 is not found in the minimum and maximum. So if you're going to put false on it, the value here will not appear if you use false in this case, because 70 is not found in the minimum and maximum. So we're going to use true because it is an approximate match. So since 70 is in between 51 to 75, so we would assume that it would return very good if it is an approximate match. So we put true in here and then close. And if we press enter, and yes, it's very good. 5175 is very good. Now to populate the value here, we usually do drag just drag this. Or we usually do double click in this corner. But the problem is, why is it NA? And some excellent and NA. So if you're going to notice here in our VLOOKUP, in our origin cell, here's the H16 J20. As it's here, it's H16 J20. Now if we look at the next column, or the column below, it's 17 and 21. So it moved. And on the next cells, it actually increased. The value increases. But to correct this problem, to erase that, we have to go to the original cell that we created a while ago. In order not these numbers to move, whenever we drag or double click, or whenever we populate the remaining adjectival performance, all we need to do is go to this column. Since we don't want 16 to change, we have to put a $sign between it. And on between J and 20, we put $sign. So 16 and 20 would be permanent. It will not move. And if you don't want H and J to move to another letter, you could also put $sign, but in this particular example, we don't need to put a $sign between the letters of the cell because we're just using a column. By using this is just enough for this example. It's very good, and if we populate there below, then it returns. So if we check on the cells, the H16 and J20 didn't move because we put a $sign on it. Now, basically that's it for a very simple example, but there's a much easier example for this. We're going to use the named references. So in this case, we're going to delete that. We would even delete that. So first is I mentioned earlier about named reference. So all we have to do is to name this reference. Just highlight the reference, and if you find here in the formula bar, this is the formula bar. This is actually the name of the reference. I have to name it ref array. So it's now called ref array. So whenever I go, if I highlight that, it always returns the ref array. I do this and it doesn't appear. If you just put single cells, put my mouse on single cells, it doesn't really put the ref array. But if I'm going to highlight that reference, it would return to ref array. So what's the use of that? In order to do away with those $signs, we have to use that. And it's actually very efficient in doing that. For example, I'm going to do VLOOKUP and then the lookup value. Instead of highlighting this range of values, all I have to do is ref array, and it's here. Ref array, then comma, column 3, because we're going to use the adjective, and still true to find the approximate match, close. And if we populate the value, we eliminated the problem on putting painstakingly all those $signs. So basically that's it. So whatever the application it may do to you, just have the reference and reference name, and then just do this particular format on VLOOKUP, and everything would be so easy and so nice. So that's it, and visit our website at lgudb.com. Thanks for watching.